What's going on, everyone? So Hoopshype has done their rankings of all the players and kind of where they rank the players. And they have kind of the consensus top five, right? See kind of different varying orders, but for the most part, the consensus five are, SGA, they had at number one. Okay, MVP, won the NBA championship, finals MVP. I mean, he had about as perfect of a season as you could have. If you want to say he's the best player in the world headed into the season, I won't push back. I still personally think it's Jokic, but after the season that SGA had, doesn't get really better than that. Okay, right? Jokic was number two. Giannis was number three. Luka was number four. Anthony Edwards was number five. Right? Again, that's kind of the consensus top three or four. Like ESPN had Luka number three and SGA number four. And then ESPN had Jokic, SGA, Luka, and Giannis with Anthony Edwards. Right? So, but you're kind of seeing the consensus thought is those are the top five. Then once you get into the top six, like 6 through 10, I do think, like 6 through 12, really, I do think you can kind of make various arguments for. However, I do think Hoopshype's top like 20, they went all the way down. But like, I thought that they had some like really questionable kind of players and stuff. They have De'Aaron Fox at 27. I don't think that that's like crazy. I think you could argue he's probably top 25. Like the players that they have over De'Aaron Fox is like Ja Morant, okay. James Harden at this stage of their careers, I would have De'Aaron Fox over James Harden. Domantas Sabonis, I mean, De'Aaron Fox was the face. He was the guy in Sacramento, right? So like, can you really put Sabonis over him, right? But okay, let's say you want to do that. Joel Embiid at this point, I don't even think you can rank Joel Embiid right at this point. Alperen Sengun, okay. Trae Young, I would personally probably take De'Aaron Fox over Trae Young. I think Trae Young, he's phenomenal. We're going to see what he can do. I mean, he's had more success over his career, like getting to the conference finals, stuff like that. I've talked about De'Aaron Fox kind of, he has a lot to prove in my opinion. He's not going to start the season. But personally, I'd probably put De'Aaron Fox, based on this list, I'd probably move him up 2 or 3 spots, if I'm being honest. They have LeBron James at number 19, which I think is crazy, right? Like, again, I'm not saying you have to put him in the top 10 or anything. Like, if you wanted to say LeBron was like 12th or something, sure, right? I think he's in that like 7 to 10 range personally, but 19th I think is just criminal again. But you have, again, their list. Victor Wembanyama. They have Victor Wembanyama 9th. I don't hate that, right? So last year I had Victor Wembanyama top 12. I thought he was like in that top 12 range. I talked on several occasions, can he move into the top 10 this season? Maybe even like the top 7 range. Like I said, I have guys like LeBron in that like 7 to 10 range. Let's say I have LeBron at 7. Can he like kind of overtake that and be in that can he be in that LeBron range, that 7 to 10 range where it's like, okay, like he's clearly a top 10 player. There are moments where he looks every bit that part, but there's still a lot that he needs to work on. He's going into year 3, right? Like there's a play. He will probably be at the top of this list in the next year or two, right? Like, I'm not worried about Victor Wembanyama. But, to be fair, to give a fair assessment, I think Victor Wembanyama, will move into the top 10 range. 9th, I actually think is pretty fair. So, like I said, the top 5, I think is, I don't even really think it's even an argument personally. But 6th, they had Jalen Brunson. 7th was Donovan Mitchell. 8th was Cade Cunningham. 9th was Victor Wembanyama. 10th was Jalen Williams. Right, so sticking with the top 10 based on this. So they have Victor Wembanyama over Jalen Williams, but behind Cade Cunningham, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson. Right, so those are the 3 guys sticking with this list. Again, I think you can make arguments, but let's just use the list for argument's sake. Those 3 guys. Are you taking Victor Wembanyama over Cade Cunningham? Based on what we saw last season, I don't think so yet. Personally, I would actually take Cade Cunningham over Donovan Mitchell. Jalen Brunson at number 6. Sure, I think that that's fair just because of like what he's done with the Knicks. I do think there's some context that's important, right? Like, he's how, like, you look at the numbers like last season, if he was in like the Western Conference, they might have not even been a play-in team. Their record against 500 teams was like they were one of the worst teams in basketball at that, right? And then they got in the playoffs and just, were able to go on that run. But it's like, they're like, what do they look like in the Western Conference? They're pretty stacked, don't get me wrong. I think they're a little too Jalen Brunson reliant at times. But okay, you want to say Jalen Brunson, just in the conference finals, really, I mean, he turned around one of the most historic franchises in sports, period. Fine. You want to give him number 6? I'll give him number 6. Really, the argument is Donovan Mitchell. Right? I actually think that they have Victor Wembanyama slotted correctly. I think having him, like I said, I would have probably had LeBron in there. Right? Victor Wembanyama, I still think has stuff to, like, I'm one of those people, like, with the top 10. It's like, you have to prove it. Right? Like, there's a lot of guys that, again, you can make the argument for talent-wise. Like Steph, you can make an argument for talent-wise. Jalen Williams, after the playoff run and stuff like that, I think you can make the argument for. Pascal Siakam, same thing, right? Like, there's several guys. Anthony Davis, Paolo Banchero, like Jaylen Brown, right? Like, there's guys that, again, you can make an argument for, but I think there needs to be a level of, like, what have you done thus far, right? Year one, Wemby's rookie year, didn't really change the win total, but it's his rookie season. Last season, again, they were good. They probably weren't making the play-in regardless. He ends up going down. Like it's I just think if you're going to have guys need to be clearly far and away the top 10 best players, right? I think that this is based off of going into this season, which I think Victor Wembanyama will be a top 10 player going into this season. So I do think that this is fair. I think if we're going off of like last year, I think, again, probably in that 12 range, but I think he will be, because this is, again, this is the rankings going into this season. So Wemby at number 9, I think is fine. I'm okay with that. Again, I don't know if I'd take him over Cade Cunningham yet. Cade Cunningham had a really good season last year. Really good. And is really starting to kind of come into his own and looking like that next star guard type guy. Donovan Mitchell is kind of my one question mark, my kind of one concern. So he's a guy that has shown, kind of reminds me of James Harden a little bit, in the sense of like prime James Harden, where like, if you want to be one of the top teams in the league, you want Donovan Mitchell on your team. From Utah to now Cleveland, he's been the 1 seed in the West and the 1 seed in the East. So Donovan Mitchell has shown, if I'm on your team, you're going to be very good until the playoffs. And now Donovan Mitchell has been a better player. Like James Harden, like completely disappeared, like Houdini act in the playoffs. So what I mean by like the James Harden comparison is not like that in the sense of like how James Harden disappeared. I mean more in the sense of like when you had James Harden, like you're going to be one of the top 3 teams in all of basketball. But James Harden was never able to lead that team anywhere. They had like that one year, where they probably beat the Warriors if Chris Paul doesn't go down. But nonetheless, like that's kind of how I feel about Donovan Mitchell, right? He's had like great regular season runs. He's had some great playoff performances in games and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, but is he a guy that you can win with? Because again, he's been 1 seeds in the West. He's been 1 seed in the East, and has done nothing but lose in the first or second round. Right. And that's kind of how I feel about this situation. So I don't know. Like Donovan Mitchell's the one that I like. If you wanted to drop him to like 10th, I would be okay with. But for argument's sake, I'm okay with Wemby being at 9. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.